What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Hope all of you are having a great day. Good morning. Um, so before I get into this General Hospital, I'm calling it General Hospital fan fiction is what it is. So before I get into this, if you all remember my Sims 3 General Hospital, this is basically a continuation of that. But I'm throwing in the Red Ribbon Killer to into the storyline. So the other storylines that happened with Faith Roscoe and everything else, that's going to kind of be put on hold for this storyline. But after this is done, I may continue with that because there's definitely more to come with Faith Roscoe and Sonny Corinthos. And you're not going to believe the fallout from that because I already had that already written out. So before I get into this video, I just want to let you all know that whoever this killer is, it could be a past character, a new character, it could be anybody. We don't know. But I will tell you this, it's a character I plan on bringing in and shutting this character out for good. That means whatever happens, this character may not be back again, ever. And I just want to let you all know that there will be a major and probably a minor death on this show. Meaning a major character might die and another minor character might. I know who I want to kill off. I've been knew who I wanted to kill off. But to let you know, there's going to be more than one person on this show killed off. Just to let you know. So I'm telling you right now, and when I do this fan fiction show, I have no favorites on this. See, the real General Hospital, I have favorites. This I don't. So anybody could be killed off. Like, I have a very sick mind. So anybody can be killed off. Cross your fingers and just pray that it's not your favorite. But I already know who I want to kill off. I made that decision 2 days ago. I already know who I want to kill. And it's more than one person. But there will be a little slow build to the serial killer. Because it's not going to be too slow of a build, but there's going to be a little bit of a slow build to it. So let me jump into it. It's morning time in Port Charles. Let me just give you an update on what's been happening with some of these characters so far since I last left off. As you remember, Ned and Lois were engaged and they are married now. And they have went to Paris to go see Brooklyn because she's still on tour. And Michael and Serena were engaged when we last left off. They got engaged and they recently got married. October 3rd, they got married. And for right now, they're still on their honeymoon, but they should be back very, very, very soon. I think during the storyline, the Red Ribbon, they should be back for that. And Felicia and Mac found out that they were pregnant, and Maxie started a business. Felicia, tragedy struck. Felicia did not have the baby. She had a miscarriage because the doctor told her it was because, alithnia stuff. Her age did play a part because she is 49, close to 50. So her age did play a part into it. And the baby wasn't developing all the way quick as they hoped. Maxie started her business. So Morgan and Amanda are still together. So let me just jump into this video because I don't want to waste too much time on the intro. So it's morning time in Port Charles. We start out with Dante. He's at his apartment with Lulu and baby Rocco. They're talking. And they get a knock on the door. Dante opens it, and to his surprise, it's his mother, Olivia. For those that don't know, Olivia is married to Steve, and her and Steve, during the Sims 3 General Hospital review, they moved to the town of Twinbrook because Steve got a job to be chief of staff of the hospital in Twinbrook, so they moved there. And this is her first time being back since they moved, so it's been a couple of months. So yeah, Olivia's at the door. Dante's shocked because he had no clue she was coming back home. They hugged, and he was asking her what was she doing there, and she said, do she really need an excuse to see her grandson and her son and her daughter-in-law? He said no, but she could have called. He could have picked her up from the airport, but she said she tried to call, but her battery died on her phone, so she didn't get a chance. So she decided to surprise Dante and Lulu. So she hugs Lulu and the baby, and she says that She missed all of them, especially her grandson. But Dante noticed that she was not wearing her wedding ring. So he kind of asked her about it and she kind of brushed it off, and they put the baby down to lie down in the crib. And Dante said he really wants to know what's going on. But before Olivia could say anything, Dante's phone rang. He had to get down to the station. So he said they're gonna pick this up when he gets back, but he said it is good to see her. So Lulu and Olivia caught up, and she was asking Lulu how's everything going, and she said things have been good. You know, things have been a little rocky for her and Dante, but they're starting to try to fix things. And Lulu, being nosy Lulu, was asking about the ring, why Olivia wasn't wearing it. So Olivia finally broke down and told her, and she said that, you know, things with her and Steve have not been good because he's been way too busy with the hospital because, like I said, he's chief of staff, so he's been more busy than usual. They haven't been able to take the trip that they wanted to take to Sunlit Tides, which is like Hawaii. It's a nice resort. So they were supposed to be having a candlelit dinner, and Steve canceled on her, and she was mad about that. So she decided to leave. It's on my lip. I hate these hair balls. I don't even know what this is. Anyway, she was upset because he missed out on several dinners. He missed out on a lot of romantic time. And Olivia just couldn't take it no more. So she decided to pack up, leave, and visit her son and grandson. And, you know, spend some time with them. So meanwhile, Dante's at the PCPD. Him and Lucky are in the squad room talking, when Anna comes out of her office and tells them that they have a murder at an apartment on Wilshire Street. The girl is 22 years old. She's a cop. She goes to PCU, Port Charles University. She was stabbed in her apartment. She said officers are on the scene already and forensics are on their way. So Dante and Lucky, they get down to the crime scene, and the officers are telling them what's going on, and they look around. They see the body of the girl. Her name is Heather Stevens, 22. She's laying there, blood. The knife is still in her stomach, and forensics finally get there. Dante's observing her body, and he noticed a red ribbon on her wrist. But he didn't pay it no mind, but he still told the ME. He told the forensics guys, he told them to take one of the officers, he told them to take the red ribbon off of her wrist, tag it, bag it for evidence. He told them to get the knife out of her, tag it, bag it, try to see if they could find some prints. Lucky was looking around the apartment, and he looked at the door, and he noticed there was no forced entry. He looked at the windows in the apartment and noticed that they weren't broken. So, you know, he came to the conclusion that maybe whoever killed her, maybe she let them in because there was no forced entry. So the boyfriend was there. He's the one that called 911 because he's the one that found her. So they told him, you know, he's hysterical. Lucky told one of the officers to take him out, take him to the precinct, let him cool down so they could talk to him later. And one of the officers came in and told Lucky that they have a woman outside in the hallway who said that she had some information about what happened, about what may have occurred, about what she saw that night. So Lucky went out to talk to her. She gave her statement. She said that when she was outside, she saw some guy coming in, going up the fire escape. And Dante asked her, did she see what he looked like? She said no, he was wearing a ski mask. And Dante asked the woman, why didn't she call 911 when she seen a guy with a ski mask coming up the fire escape? And she gave some flimsy ass answer, talking about she didn't know what was going on and blah, blah, blah. Lucky was like, okay, thank you for your cooperation. So he went in and told Dante all about it, about what the woman said. So they decided to go back to the precinct. Well, before they went back to the precinct, they had to figure out who her friends were, but they wanted to talk to the boyfriend first. They had the officers canvass the area, the building, and the neighborhood, see what they could find out. So they went back to the station and they went into the interrogation room, and they talked to the boyfriend. His name is Christopher. His name is Christopher Malone, her boyfriend of 2 years. And they asked him what was he doing at her apartment this morning. The boyfriend said he hadn't heard from her all night. He was calling her. She wasn't answering the phone. He started to get nervous. So he went over there early this morning. That's when he found the body, and he immediately called 911. So they asked him, where was he last night? His whereabouts. He said he was home all night with his friend and his parents. His friend happens to be his best friend, he said. He said a guy named John Henderson. He said that they can call him and he'll tell them where he was last night, and his parents were there. So they asked the boyfriend, did Heather have any enemies who would want to kill her? And her boyfriend said no one. He said no one wanted to kill her. He said she had no enemies. She was very popular. She was cool with everybody. She never, had any bad blood with anyone. And he said, did she have any best friends, any friends that she hung out with on a regular basis? He said the only girl that she hung out with on a regular basis is a girl that she grew up with named Kristen. He said that her name was Kristen Avery. He said that they were best of friends. They grew up together. So they told him that he can go for now. But before he left, they asked him, did his girlfriend Heather ever wear a red ribbon around her wrist? And he said no. He said she never wore a red ribbon around her wrist. And they told him he can go. So they found the girl, Kristen, Heather's best friend, and they broke the news to her about her friend's death, and she broke down crying. She said that the last time she talked to Heather was 9:00 the night before, the previous night, and they were supposed to link up during the afternoon today, to go over some notes for a class that they were taking. And she said she called her this morning but got no answer. And they asked her a bunch of questions about Heather and her boyfriend. And Kristen said that things were good between them in their relationship. There was no problems. So then they asked Kristen, did Heather ever wear a red ribbon around her wrist? And Kristen said no. She said she never wore a red ribbon. So they said that'll be all. So they went back to the PCPD. They went into Anna's office and talked to Anna. And they said that there was no forced entry, but a witness witnessed a guy with a ski mask coming up the fire escape. So then they said that the red ribbon was found around her wrist. Dante said that all her friends and her boyfriend said she never wore a red ribbon. So Anna said that it might be possible that the killer put the red ribbon around her wrist. So Lucky comes into the office with a report about the knife and the red ribbon. He said that there was no prints on the knife, and he said there was no prints on the red ribbon. So Anna was looking like maybe we're not dealing with an amateur. We might be dealing with maybe a professional. Who knows? She said to keep digging. She said go back to the apartment, scour for clues, do whatever you got to do. She was like, because we need to get this person off the streets, because she already got the mayor blowing up her phone, wanting to go to the press and run her big mouth about this case. And Anna said that they're not going to do that because it's going to put the town in panic. So she told them to work the case, do whatever they got to do to shut this case down. So meanwhile, back at the Quartermain mansion, Tracy is in the living room sulking because she's pissed that Ned married Lois again. Monica told Tracy to just shut the hell up. Well, not shut the hell up, but she told her to shut up because Ned is a grown man who happens to be in love, and she should get over it and find herself a life in a man. And Tracy said the last time she had a man, he turned out to be a scumbag who was just using her for ELQ. She says she's done with men, and Tracy laughed and said that's not true. She's like, you're always going to be around men. So meanwhile, Tracy left the room. Danny and Sam came in, and Danny was happy to see his grandmother. And Monica asked Sam about Alexis, how she's been holding up, because remember Julian was presumed dead in that plane crash. And she said that her mother's doing good. She said she just got off the phone with her. She's in LA visiting Molly, because Molly is attending UCLA College. So she thought she'd go out there and visit her, to get her mind off of things. So meanwhile, at Sonny's house, Carly comes over. Carly and Jax are still separated. Carly came over or whatever to talk to Sonny about Michael and Serena, and she said that she just can't believe that their son is married now. And Sonny was smiling, saying he couldn't believe it either. He thought that they would have a little more ways to go before one of their kids ended up married. But he said he's happy for Michael because Michael is happy. But he said he's not too happy about being the in-laws of Scott and Lucy. And Carly laughed and said, yeah, Scott could be a handful. So Carly was asking him about Brenda. And Sonny said that Brenda was still in Paris, at the facility visiting Alec. And she took Amelia with her. Amelia, for those of you that don't know, is Sonny's daughter with Brenda. She's still a toddler. And so meanwhile, Morgan was at his apartment, his new apartment, with his girlfriend Amanda, and they were eating breakfast. And Morgan said he had something else for Amanda, so he pulled out a tray with a silver lid on top, and he told her to open the lid. And she smiled and said, what is it, deviled eggs? So she opened the lid, and it was a little black box. And Morgan told her to open it. She opened the black box, and it was a 10-carat engagement ring. So Morgan said that, all his life, he always had a messed up point of view about marriage, because of his parents, getting married, divorced, and, but he always felt that when he found the right woman, he would love to get married. And he said that he feels that he found the right woman in Amanda, and he wants to spend the rest of his life with her. So he took the ring, put it on her finger, and asked her would she be his wife. And Amanda, tears was coming down her face, and she gleefully said yes. And they hugged and kissed. And then they went into the bedroom and celebrated some more. So meanwhile, back at the PCPD, Lucky and Dante go into Anna Devane's office, and they're just floored with this case of Heather Stevens. They said that they've talked to all of her friends. There's just no, they're ruling them all out. The boyfriend is ruled out because they say he came back in and they gave him a polygraph test and he passed. So they had to rule him out as a suspect. And that's when Anna Devane got a phone call from one of her officers, telling her that there's been another murder. So I'm going to leave it at that until the next episode. I hope all of you enjoyed this. I'm going to call it a pilot episode. There's going to be more to come. Maxie, she should be appearing in the next episode. So I'm going to try to fit everyone in a certain episode, because I'm not trying to bloat the episode with a whole bunch of characters. But I'll see you all later. Have a great day. Hope you enjoyed this pilot episode. Let me know what you think. And there's more to come. See you all tomorrow. Later. Have a great day.